could have gone better. All right, there we go. Good evening, everybody. Hello, welcome in. Hello, good to see you all. I'm trying to get myself sorted out here, so just a minute. I'm working on it. There we go. All right, we're in. I wanted to make sure my comments are on. Hello, everyone. Hello. Hi, Kaya. Good to see you. Hello. Is it Carlander? Sorry about that. Hello. Hi, Carrie. Hello, Cat Juice. Good to see you. Good to see everybody. Hello. Merry Christmas. Thank you. And to you as well and your family. So lots of fun holidays right now. We love that. we all need that quite a bit right now, I think. So that's always good. Hello. Just finished reading it. Okay. Oh my goodness. So I have not read it yet, everybody. I wanted to read it with you all so we can all gasp in horror at the same time. Oh my gosh, this could have gone better for this guy, I think. Maybe he needs to have made some better choices. I feel like he has made some bad choices in his situation. Oh my gosh. I guess some people forget things as they go forward. So, yikes. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's pretty bad. Hello. Yes, Festivus. I wanted to show you. I've got it listed here. We have Christmas Eve, and then we have Christmas, and then we have Boxing Day and Kwanzaa. We also have Hanukkah starting here. We just had solstice. Happy solstice. Belatedly, everybody. Just got it. And then somebody said the 30th is National Bacon Day, which is very important. We mustn't forget that one. And then we've got New Year's Eve on the 31st. So I think we've got everybody included in this. So just finished it. It's gross. Oh yeah, I'm not surprised. I will try to maybe kind of change my words a little bit so we don't get into too much trouble with the algorithm. But I have set this live tonight to 18 and older. So that'll be good. Oh, thank you so much. Yes, thank you. And to you as well. Yes, bacon, of course. National Bacon Day is very, very important. Hanukkah starts, on Christmas Day. So, and then we've got multiple days after that. Very exciting. Maybe 21 and older. Well, I figure if you're old enough to vote, you're old enough to be able to hang out on the live. Oh, Kristen, that's so sweet. Yes, I've been a bit under the weather lately again, so it's taken me a bit to get back. Yes, some subjects. Oh, I agree. Oh, BLT, yes. Oh, that's a good one. Does anyone remember when McDonald's had a BLT and they had it in this big styrofoam box and one half was the cold side and the other side was bacon? And so you put them together and it was like this interactive sandwich situation. That was a long time ago, but I remember being a little kid and being like, that's really cool. Can I have that? My mom's like, you don't like that stuff. Oh my gosh. I tell you, if you can think of your childhood in the forms of fast food, I think you're doing okay. Oh my gosh. Really? Oh, okay. Yeah, nice. Oh, thanks, Kaya. Thank you. It's an interactive sandwich. Some people are okay with that. Other people are like, look, I don't want to have to cook and make my own meal if I'm out. I want someone else to do it, not me. So yes, I've got my Christmas nails on tonight. I'll have those on for a few days. And then I'm very excited. I've got different nails for each of our holidays coming up. So I'm very excited about that. Oh, the tab soda, of course. Classic. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, this one's kind of fun because it's like a wrapped gift. And then it's got this little pearl at the top. So adorable. We love it. But welcome in, everybody. Okay, so now I also have the complaint filed by Blake Lively. So I have, yes, so I've got lots to go over with everybody. And I still, of course, want to get through Homeland Security, the chapter of P25, not myself. Oh my gosh. Yes. So I thought we could take a poll. I'd like to kind of dive in and with Matt Gaetz's, I would just really be skipping some of the language. I know. And so I'm thinking we might do that. This would be the easiest to do for tonight. But then I will be back. Now, I know a lot of people celebrate on Christmas Eve, so I don't want to interrupt. But I do want to get through some of this other stuff as well. So hopefully this week I'll be on quite a bit. Yeah, I think Matt Gaetz is the best choice. But I will be on quite a bit. I'm very thankful. My family is very close to me, so it doesn't take me a long time to go and visit and celebrate with them. So, yes, I agree, Rosalind. I agree. And Corey, I think that's a good point too. So we'll start with Matt. Max. We'll start with him tonight, and I will be kind of changing my words up just a little bit, just to make sure that we are in compliance here with the algorithm's request. Although I have set us up for, okay, excellent, Thomas, excellent. I have set it up for 18 and older tonight on the chat. So if anyone sneaks in who seems under 18, just give a shout out to a moderator. And, let them know. So, all right, so here we go. This is the ethics report, for Matt Gaetz. Now, I have not read through this. I wanted to give you all my first impressions as we go through it. So, just so you know, so I'll be careful. You got the job, Tiffany. Oh my gosh. Congratulations, Tiffany. Yay. Woo, yay. Oh, I'm so excited for you. That's wonderful. Oh my gosh, congrats. That's really amazing. We love that. We love it. Good evening. Hello. Yeah, Mrs. Gaetz. Oh, is he married? No, he's not married. Maybe, his mother? He's suing the ethics committee. Well, yeah. I mean, they're going to sue everybody. Everybody's getting sued. Oh my gosh. And then that's how they figure out the parameter that some things you just can't sue over. All right, so let's put the date out here, the 23rd and the 2024, right? That's right. We're in 2024. He's married? Oh my gosh. Really? Oh my goodness. He got married when the news broke about his investigation. Ooh, interesting. That's very interesting. I don't know. I mean, this is some crazy business going on here. Oh, thank you so much. Good evening. Oh, that was very fun. We love it. Recently, and she's beautiful. Oh, well, we hope, we hate to see people getting taken down with their significant others. So, hopefully they will work out today. Got glue on your fingers, on the nails, everywhere. Yes, Estelle, eventually you'll find that that's just who you are now. You are the person with nail glue on everything. And that's okay. Oh my gosh. Do your parents consent to the marriage? Good question. Which state was it, right? What's the requirements for consent? Oh my gosh, it's just so distressing, everybody. Distressing. All right, let's get the Christmas pen out. This will make us feel better. All right, so we got the Christmas pen tonight. Oh dear. Oh, goodness gracious. All right, everybody. So, as I said, I will be kind of being careful with some of the verbiage as we go through this. I'm not ready yet, so that we can all read it together and gasp in horror together. Oh my gosh. So, just so that you know. So we've got the ethics report on Matt Gaetz, and it came out today. So in the matter of allegations relating to Representative Matt Gaetz. Here's the report on the Committee on Ethics. And the date is December 23rd of 2024, referred to the House calendar and ordered to be printed. So there's our first page here. Over here, adopted by the Committee of Ethics on December 10th, here, and then, again, they're just going through it again. So here's the report. There is dissenting views on it. So I will probably skip around a little bit on this, depending on how it's written. Oh my gosh, he would have made a fine AG. Oh my gosh. We really dodged something, I think, in that situation. Yikes. All right, so here's our Committee on Ethics. And I think it's important to know who's actually on the committee, right? Now we've got a chairman and a ranking member. We have David Joyce, John Rutherford, Andrew Garbarino, Michelle Fishbach, Susan Wild, Veronica Escobar, Mark De Saulnier, Deborah Ross, and Glenn Ivy. And I really butchered all those names. I apologize. So these are the representatives making up the committee here. I think that's important to note as well. We've got a mix in here. And then we've got the staff as well that had to go through all of this. Garbanzo? Oh my gosh. Garbarino? Oh my goodness. Hello, Annette. Welcome. All right, so we've got the letter of transmittal, December 23rd. I thought it said cucumber, but that's incorrect. Dear Mr. McCumber, pursuant to the clauses of 3A2 and 3B of Rule 11 of the Rules of the House of Representatives, I hereby transmit the attached report with dissenting views in the matter of allegations relating to Representative Matt Gaetz. And then it's signed here by Mr. Cucumber. Nope. Michael Guest. All right. So here we go. Here's our contents here. So we've got an introduction, procedural history, relevant laws, rules, and other applicable standards of conduct. So federal laws, Florida state laws, House rules, and other standards of conduct. So this isn't like a criminal body. This isn't like a grand jury situation. There's no prosecutor involved. So this is not going to be a criminal case at this point, but it would have significant effects had he stayed in office. Factual background, allegations of the SEX misconduct and this kind of use, allegations relating to the House gift rule, allegations relating to misuse of official resources, obstruction of the committee's investigation, which, we've seen a lot of that. Next, we have findings, and then first, the committee found Representative Gaetz violated state laws related to SEX misconduct. The committee found Representative Gaetz used illegal substances here. The committee found the Representative Gaetz violated the House gift rule. The committee found Representative Gaetz dispensed special privileges and favors to individuals with whom he had a personal relationship. And then the committee found Representative Gaetz sought to obstruct its investigation of his conduct. And then we have a conclusion, statement under the House rules, and then views of the chairman, and then a couple appendix pieces in here. So Mr. Gaetz's correspondence with the committee and exhibits. So all of that is included. Now, I will do a quick shout out and say if for some reason this live goes down, sometimes that can happen, I will set everything up so I will be over on my tube of view. All right, so I will keep going. I will just move to my my other place. So just a heads up in case for some reason, we get mouse reported or something. Yeah, I didn't realize he was married. I'm like, oh my gosh. We will see how that comes together later. All right, here we go. Report with dissenting views. So Mr. Guest from the Committee on Ethics submitted the following report with dissenting views. In accordance with House Rule 11, Clause 3A2 and 3B, the Committee on Ethics hereby submits the following report to the House of Representatives, including the views of Chairman Guest on behalf of the dissenting committee members. Here. So, number one, introduction. And you can, if you are not wanting the comments on the screen, there is a way you can swipe it. Maybe if, Big Grandma, do you know how to pull those comments? I've forgotten, but you can do that if you want to, if you're not wanting to see comments. All right. And again, we are set to 18 and older. On April 9th of 2021, the committee announced it was investigating a series of widely reported allegations relating to Representative Matt Gaetz. At the request of the Department of Justice, the committee deferred its review during the 117th Congress. After it was organized for the 118th Congress, the committee reauthorized its investigation into the allegations involving Representative Gaetz. Specifically, the committee undertook a review of allegations that Representative Gaetz may have engaged in sex misconduct and or illicit drug use, shared inappropriate images or video on the House floor, misused state identification records, converted campaign funds to personal use, and or accepted a bribe, improper gratuity, or impermissible gift. Yikes, that's all of them. In June of 2024, following an extensive fact-finding, the committee determined to continue its review of the allegations of sex misconduct, illicit drug use, and acceptance of impermissible gifts, and expanded this review to include allegations that Representative Gaetz may have dispensed special privileges and favors to individuals with whom he had a personal relationship and obstructed government investigations into his conduct. At that time, the committee determined to take no further action on the allegations relating to the House floor, state identification records, personal use of campaign funds, and acceptance of a bribe or gratuity. There's a lot of corruption going on, but you know what I think is great is that we're starting to catch it. I'm not saying that behavior is okay, but we're catching a lot of it these days, so that's good. On November 14th of 2024, Representative Gaetz resigned from the House after the president-elect announced his intention to nominate Representative Gaetz for the position of the United States Attorney General. As a result, the Representative Gaetz's resignation, the committee lost jurisdiction to continue its investigation. Representative Gaetz subsequently withdrew from consideration for the position of Attorney General. At this time, he has not announced any intent to seek higher office to return to Congress. There we go. Now we'll jump right back in. The committee has typically not released its findings after losing jurisdiction in a matter. And then we have footnote number 1 here, which says, they're citing that particular statement down here. However, there are a few prior instances where the committee has determined that it was in the public interest to release its findings even after a member's resignation from Congress. And then let me double check here. We've just got another citation here. The committee does not do so lightly. In this instance, although several committee members objected, a majority of the members of the committee agreed that the committee's findings should be released to the public. And that's pretty amazing, isn't it? To have these people coming together on anything. So that's, good. In sum, the committee found substantial evidence of the following. From at least 2017 to 2020, Representative Gaetz regularly paid women for engaging in sex activity with him. In 2017, paid women regularly. See, now this is, I'm wondering then, are we talking straight up prostitutes or just other people that could use a little extra money? That's a good question. In 2017, Representative Gaetz engaged in sex activity with a 17-year-old girl. That's not okay. No, sir. During that period of 2017 and 2019, Representative Gaetz used or possessed illegal DRUGs, including this one and this one, on multiple occasions. Representative Gaetz accepted gifts, including transportation and lodging, in connection with a 2018 trip to the Bahamas to excessive permissible amounts. So, the Bahama trip. I think that was a really big one when everybody was talking about that. In 2018, Representative Gaetz arranged for his chief of staff to assist a woman with whom he'd engaged in sex activity in obtaining a passport, falsely indicating to the U.S. Department of State that she was a constituent. Oh, come on, man. Representative Gaetz knowingly and willfully sought to impede and obstruct the committee's investigation on his conduct. Representative Gaetz has acted in a manner that reflects discredibility upon the House. I would say so. Like, this is my shocked face. Oh my gosh. Based on the above, the committee concluded there was substantial evidence that Representative Gaetz violated House rules, state and federal laws, and other standards of conduct prohibiting prostitution. Okay, I guess we do. We do have a prostitution situation. Statutory RAPE, illicit DRUG use, acceptance of impermissible gifts, the provision of special favors and privileges, and obstruction of Congress. The committee did not find sufficient evidence to conclude Representative Gaetz violated the federal sex trafficking statute. Yikes. Although Representative Gaetz did cause the transportation of women across state lines for purposes of commercial sex, the committee did not find evidence that any of those women were under 18 at the time of travel. Nor did the committee find sufficient evidence to conclude that the commercial sex acts were induced by force, fraud, or coercion. So I think we're doing a straight up prostitution-like situation. Right. Yeah, good point, VC. We're here. We're here to talk about Mr. Gaetz. The other people that are involved are not of concern to us for this situation. So we don't do victim blaming here. So be sensitive. Thank you kindly. All right. So next up, we've got page 3. Now, Representative Gaetz was uncooperative throughout the committee's reviews. He provided minimal documentation in response to the committee's request. He also did not agree to a voluntary interview. On July 11th of 2024, the committee issued a subpoena to the Representative Gaetz for his testimony. He did not appear despite having received notice of the date and time of the deposition. The committee then sent Representative Gaetz a set of written questions to which he issued a public response that ignored most of the direct questions about his misconduct and mischaracterized the committee's investigation and his participation up to that point. Despite Representative Gaetz' claims to the contrary, the committee's singular mission is to protect the integrity of the House. When faced with serious public allegations against a member, the committee will often investigate, and when such allegations are false, the committee has a shared goal with the respondent to disprove those allegations. While the committee considered whether to establish an investigative subcommittee to consider sanctions against Representative Gaetz, the committee ultimately determined that it would not risk the further victimization of the women involved in this matter. Most of the women with whom the committee spoke also gave statements to DOJ and urged the committee to rely on those statements in lieu of requiring them to relive their experience. They were particularly concerned with providing additional testimony about a sitting congressman in light of DOJ's lack of action on their prior testimony. DOJ refused to provide the relevant statements and other significant evidence to the committee. DOJ cited internal policies about protecting uncharged subjects like Representative Gaetz. General concern about the DOJ's cooperation with the committee may deter other victims in other matters and various inappropriate policies and opposite policies relating to congressional oversight of the DOJ itself. DOJ's initial deferral request and subsequent lack of cooperation with the committee's review caused significant delays in the investigation. Those delays were compounded by Representative Gaetz' obstructive efforts. The committee has determined that its findings must be released without further impediments. So it looks like we're having some problems with the DOJ here. The DOJ, we've got some internal policy issues here. Internal policies. I mean, yeah, so that might be something that somebody needs to take a look at. Can somebody take a look at that, DOJ? That situation, because we are not pleased about it. All right. On December 10th, the committee voted on whether to release this report. Although several members did not support its release, a majority of the members voted in favor of its release. So there we go. Here's our procedural history, and I'll probably just skip through some of this here so we can get to the big points. Procedural history: on April 9th of 2021, the committee publicly announced it was investigating allegations relating to Representative Gaetz, including whether he may have engaged in SEX misconduct and or illicit DRUG use, shared inappropriate images or videos on the House floor, misused state identification records, converted campaign funds to personal use, and or accepted a bribe, improper gratuity, or impermissible gifts. Shortly thereafter, DOJ requested the committee defer all investigations of Representative Gaetz. The committee did so. Ooh, so they asked him to put everything on pause. That's interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about that at this point. In February of 2023, after the committee asked DOJ for an update on its deferral request, public reports indicated that DOJ had informed Representative Gaetz and multiple witnesses that the congressman would not be charged in connection with the investigation. Shortly thereafter, DOJ informed the committee it was no longer requesting a deferral. The chairman and ranking member reauthorized this matter in May of 2023 in accordance with the committee rule 18 sub A. So again, here we've got some hinky business going on at the DOJ here. Hinky, DOJ. You're listening. You're being hinky. On June 18th of 2024, the committee announced that the scope of the inquiry would focus on allegations of SEX misconduct, illicit DRUG use, acceptance of improper gifts, dispensation of special privileges and favors to individuals with whom he had a personal relationship, and obstruction of government investigations. At that time, the committee also stated it would not continue to investigate allegations of sharing inappropriate images or of videos on the House floor, misusing state identification records, converting campaign funds to personal use, and accepting a bribe or improper gratuity. So it looks like they kind of split up what they were going to do and focused on just a couple of particular areas. So now I'm just going to toss this out here, everyone, for a little bit extra information. But, I think we all kind of heard about the people on the floor that were talking about how Gaetz would come up and explain, his escapades and show, pictures and various things. So I want to kind of put this out there, and based off of my experience working in a legislature for years, this is actually pretty common. And so for me, I'm thinking wow, somebody actually got dinged on that, because it can be something that you will hear about or see. And depending on how old you are, if you're a younger page and you don't have any authority, you might try to kind of laugh it off. Or if you are one woman of only 8 in the entire legislature, you might just need to laugh it off in order to continue to go forward. But the fact that he's being called out on it is finally one of the moments where I'm like, well, it took you long enough, everybody. So this is just being called out on it is so much further than how it used to be when you were working at the Capitol. You just got used to it. You just got used to it, and it was something that you understood was just part of being part of this kind of good old boys club, depending on where you're at. And also keep in mind, I'm kind of in the middle of the United States. All right, so let's go ahead and skip through this just a little bit so we can get to some of the allegations. So again, they're just going through the procedures on how they got the committee together here. So let's just do a couple paragraphs on this page. We'll keep moving forward. Yeah. Why did DOJ dismiss on all charges? That's a great question. And I'm wondering if they're using it as some kind of leverage for something else. Yeah, it's possible. So the committee initially made a narrowly tailored request for information to Representative Gaetz, seeking information limited to the allegations that would not be within DOJ's jurisdiction, the alleged acceptance of an improper gift and sharing of these kinds of images and videos on the House floor. The request also invited Representative Gaetz to provide additional information relevant to any of the allegations under review. Representative Gaetz sought numerous extensions and complained about the burden of the request. Representative Gaetz ultimately provided only 3 pages of information in response to the committee's initial request. So again, it's like, what are we hiding here? He didn't break federal law, only state law. Yeah, well, we'll take a look. They do dive into them. So skipping forward a little bit further, the committee noted Representative Gaetz that an interview would be an opportunity to respond to the allegations against you and relevant questions arising out of the reviews. However, he declined to voluntarily participate, again making demands of the committee instead. On January 11th, the committee issued a subpoena for Representative Gaetz's testimony. The subpoena was served electronically to Representative Gaetz and his chief of staff, who had communicated with the committee on behalf of the congressman throughout the investigation. Representative Gaetz did not appear to testify pursuant to the committee's subpoena. Representative Gaetz did not provide a legal basis for his failure to appear, but informed the committee that, quote, upon information and belief, the House will not take action to enforce, end quote, the subpoena. The committee informed Representative Gaetz that following his failure to comply with a subpoena and to provide fulsome response to previous requests for information, the committee would rely on the record available to make its findings on this matter. Representative Gaetz responded by stating that he had prioritized proving evidence that most clearly and directly proves his innocence, and stated that he welcomed written questions from the committee. The committee subsequently sent a set of written questions to Representative Gaetz. Representative Gaetz issued his response publicly, which did not answer most of the questions, and asserted he would no longer voluntarily participate in the investigation. So, yikes. So there's that. Oh, well, welcome in, SOS. One thing, if you hear an attorney say, I would be happy to provide you with something or another, they're not happy to do it. They're trying to get out of the room so they can get away. So there's a little insight for you for attorneys speak. Oh my gosh. And you can't answer these kinds of questions just at a podium for a press conference. All right. Relevant laws, rules, and other applicable standards of conduct here. Now, I will skip through this as well. I think it's good to have some idea of what we're talking about here, but I won't go too far into the details. Federal law, Section 1591 of Title 18 of the United States Code, and Title 18 is the criminal code at the federal level, prohibits trafficking, including recruiting, enticing, or transporting a underage person for commercial sex while knowing or in reckless disregard of the fact that the victim is a minor. So that's really important to know, right? So if they're like, well, they had driver's license, they said they were over 18, that's still not going to be good enough. Section 1591 also prohibits trafficking adults for commercial sex using force, threats of force, fraud, or coercion. The Mann Act of 18 U.S. Code Section 2421 prohibits the knowing transportation of individuals through interstate or foreign commerce to engage in prostitution or other illegal sex activities. Section 2423 specifically prohibits the transportation of minors with the intent to engage in commercial sex or illegal sexual activity. However, if a defendant establishes that she reasonably believed that the individual, I don't know, is that he? Oh, that's interesting. With whom he engaged in commercial sex was at least 18 years old. The defendant may avoid criminal liability. Sections 2421 and 2422 are not limited to transportation of minors, but the criminal division of the DOJ has stated that it does not prosecute these statutes in every case in which they are violated, but only where there is evidence of a victim of severe forms of trafficking on persons. So this is awful. Let's take a minute here. This is awful. This is the DOJ saying, well, depending on how much harm was done to the victim, we may or may not charge it. And that's really bad. That's no good, DOJ. You're really screwing this up, in my opinion. Yeah, this is awful. So it's up to them. Maybe they'll file, maybe they won't. Depends on how they feel about the victim, the survivor in the situation. Yeah, all right. Federal law also prohibits obstruction of Congress, specifically under 18 U.S. Code Section 1505. It's a crime either corruptly or through threats to influence, obstruct, or impede the due and proper exercise of the power of inquiry of a House committee or to endeavor to do so. So we'll skip down here. Now we've got the Florida state laws. Yeah, that's troublesome. Prosecutorial discretion is very powerful, but if you've actually got a policy within the Department of Justice that says we don't do this, just like we don't charge sitting presidents, that can really be unfortunate. All right, Florida state laws. Under Florida's statutory RAPE law, it's a felony for a person 24 years of age or older to engage in sex activity with a 16 or 17-year-old. A person charged with this offense may not claim ignorance or misrepresentations of the minor's age as a defense. So this is pretty classic language for this kind of a law. All right, that's pretty traditional. Every state's got something that says something like that. It's also a criminal offense under Florida state law to solicit, induce, entice, or procure another to commit prostitution or to purchase the service of any person engaged in prostitution or to aid, abet, or participate in such activities. Florida defines prostitution as the giving or receiving of the body for this kind of activity for hire, but excludes that kind of activity between spouses. Yikes. Okay. Yikes. In Florida, unauthorized possession of controlled substances, also a criminal offense. Schedule 1 and 2, controlled substances are deemed by Florida law as having a high potential for abuse. This drug and this drug, commonly referred to as this word or Molly, are controlled substances under Florida law. Yeah, that's a pretty big yikes. I agree. That's a pretty big yikes here. Moving on. House rule and other standards of conduct. So pursuant to 5 U.S. Code 7353 and House Rule 25, Clause 5, the gift rule, members of Congress are subject to broad limitations on the solicitation and acceptance of gifts. Under the gift rule, members may not knowingly accept any gift except as provided in the rule. As the ethics manual explains, which I think he probably didn't read, gifts include gratuities, favors, discounts, entertainment, hospitality, loans, forbearances, services, training, travel experience, in-kind contributions, advanced payments, and reimbursement after the fact. The general provision of the gift rule allows a member to accept a gift valued less than $50, so long as the source of the gift is not a registered lobbyist for an agent or private entity that retains or employs such individuals. All right, so we've got this gift rule going on. So one thing that I thought was very interesting is that I just saw an interview with AOC, and she was talking about how at this time, all of the representatives have to file their statements of gifts and various things that they had received. And so she had said, she was very careful that she didn't want to get involved with the other side of things. And so she just didn't accept anything. And I thought, well, that makes sense. But was it a tip? Great question. You have to ask the Supreme Court about that. I say angrily. All right, so here we go. We've got the rule on gifts, and I think we kind of have hit that. So let's move forward. Here again, talking about the standards for the code of ethics for government people as well. Did you see it too? Okay, yeah. I thought she really has an amazing way of explaining things to people. Very wise, very very wise. Um, right. Yeah, true story. All right, factual background. Again, everybody, I need to be careful of my words so that I don't get dinged in the algorithm here, but we will kind of go forward. I'll also say we are at an 18 and older level, and it will be talking about some disturbing things. So if that's upsetting to you, it's not going to hurt my feelings. If you want to just head out for a little while and then come back if you're wanting to do that, all right? So I'm giving you a moment here to decide for yourself if you're interested in the details or not. Viewer discretion. All right, factual background. Allegations of SEX misconduct and DRUG use. On March 30th of 2021, the New York Times reported that Representative Gaetz was under investigation by DOJ for possible violations of SEX trafficking laws. Now, I'm going to just make sure that footnotes here are not actually arguments that they're making down here. So that is just a citation. The investigation reportedly related to allegations that Representative Gaetz had a SEX relationship with a 17-year-old and paid for her to travel with him. On April 1st of 2021, additional reporting indicates the federal investigation included allegations involving cash payments, the use of illegal substances, the recruitment of women online for SEX, and the use of campaign funds to pay for travel for women. The DOJ investigation was part of an ongoing inquiry involving a former county tax collector in Florida named Joel Greenberg, who was sentenced to 11 years in prison in 2022. Oh, thank you so much, Rodney. I appreciate that. So this was his friend, his buddy, and I have gone through that indictment too. It was a while ago, but he was fully in that business. So it was just a matter of time, I think, before Mr. Gaetz got pulled in. Representative Gaetz's arrangement with Joel Greenberg. Again, he's in prison right now. The committee's records show that shortly after he was sworn into Congress in 2017, Representative Gaetz became friends with Mr. Greenberg, who had also recently taken office as the I'm going to say this name wrong, I apologize, Seminole County tax collector. According to Mr. Greenberg, the two met at the house of Christopher Dorworth, a Florida lobbyist. Mr. Greenberg and Representative Gaetz frequently attended parties and other gatherings with young women in attendance. Many of those women were initially contacted by Mr. Greenberg via website seekingarrangement.com, which is now seeking.com, and I'm not promoting that at all, everybody. So just know the feds are watching this site, okay? So I'll leave the rest up to you. Make good choices. And Mr. Greenberg subsequently introduced the women to Representative Gaetz. Seekingarrangement.com advertised itself as a sugar dating website. What? Sugar dating? A website that primarily connected older men and younger women seeking mutual beneficial relationships. Yikes. The website was generally understood by many of the women interviewed by the committee to involve, at minimum, an exchange of companionship for money. There have been prosecutions against individuals for SEX trafficking that originated with contacts made through this website or similar websites, and some have called for the website to be shut down due to its facilitation of prostitution. By the way, prostitution is legal in Nevada, except for Reno and Las Vegas, so there's that. Platforms such as seekingarrangement.com are known to make it easier for traffickers to exploit victims and connect with buyers. Yuck. Hazmat shower. Ew. It's just gross what people... All right. Yeah, I agree. Mike Johnson's on there? Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. Just yuck. All right. So the committee did not receive any evidence that Representative Gaetz had his own account On seekingarrangement.com, Mr. Greenberg indicated he frequently showed the site to Representative Gaetz and that he provided his login credentials to Representative Gaetz. According to Mr. Greenberg, he and Representative Gaetz would split the costs of DRUGS's hotels and girls. For example, the committee reviewed evidence that such activity occurred in July of 2017. I feel like Mr. Gaetz wasn't really doing his job in Congress very well because he's out doing all of this kind of stuff, but whatever. Specifically, evidence showed that Representative Gaetz, Mr. Greenberg, and others gathered at a rental property located in the Brickwell neighborhood of Miami, Florida for a weekend, beginning on July 7th of 2017. Representative Gaetz and Mr. Greenberg also spent time in Fort Lauderdale during the Miami stay, during which time Representative Gaetz withdrew at least $1,200 in cash from 3 different accounts at a single ATM. On June 22nd of 2017, Representative Gaetz paid $6,308 for that rental booking. On July 9th of 2017, Mr. Greenberg paid Representative Gaetz $1,600 by check. Mr. Greenberg stated the check was reimbursement for a share of the rental. Mr. Greenberg also noted that they met up with another individual for dinner that weekend, and he shared a photo of Representative Gaetz, himself, and the other individual on social media on July 8th of 2017. Because, of course, you have to take a picture of your wrongdoings and post it on social media. Oh, my goodness gracious. All right. Taking a moment, catching our breath. We're at 18 and older here, all right? The committee received evidence confirming that Representative Gaetz at times personally made payments to women who attended parties with him and Mr. Greenberg using various peer-to-peer electronic payment services, as well as checks and cash. The committee's record also indicates that Mr. Greenberg sometimes paid women for having sex with Gaetz and was sometimes reimbursed by Representative Gaetz. That's so gross. Witnesses indicated that there were many times when a lump sum would be sent to one woman who would then distribute the money evenly among others who attended the parties. Likewise, in one instance, yuck. Yikes. Representative Gaetz sent $400 to Mr. Greenberg. That's not enough. This is not enough for what he's doing. With the note, hit up victim A. Mr. Greenberg then sent 2 women payments totaling $400, including victim A. Oh my gosh, this is awful. On August 19th of 2020, Mr. Greenberg was indicted on charges related to his misuse of motor vehicle records and identification documents in his role as the Seminole County tax collector and his attempt to falsely accuse a political opponent of being a pedophile. He was additionally charged with sex trafficking of a child victim A, wire fraud, bribery of a public official, theft of government property, and related charges. He pleaded guilty to 6 charges, including the sex trafficking of victim A, in May of 2021, but his sentencing was delayed until December of 2022 due to his ongoing cooperation in several other matters. All right, so he turned. As part of his cooperation, he provided information that was ultimately corroborated and ended in successful prosecutions. There you go. Yeah, you got to flip on everybody, everyone. Just flip away. Number 2, Representative Gaetz' interactions with women he met through Mr. Greenberg. Here. Transactional nature of the interactions. From 2017 to 2020, Representative Gaetz made tens of thousands of dollars in payments to women that the committee determined were likely in connection with sex activity and or DRUG use. Payments were made to these women using peer-to-peer payment platforms such as PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App. Well, Representative Gaetz had accounts in his name on each of those platforms. He also sometimes paid women through another person's PayPal account or through an account held under a pseudonym, pseudonymous anonymous email account. Representative Gaetz also paid the following, some of the women by check or in cash. The following chart summarizes payments made by Representative Gaetz to Mr. Greenberg and to women via peer-to-peer payment platform checks. All right, so let's take a look at the chart. We love a chart. All right, so here we go. We have the recipient, a woman here, and then they're just numbered 1 through 12, and then Mr. Greenberg's down here. All right, so these women, and then the amount. Oh, this was his former girlfriend here. Okay, so woman number 1 is his former girlfriend, so keep that in mind. And the amount that she got was $63,836.58 between 2017 and 2020. So, that's a lot. And down here, if we look at Joel Greenberg, he was paid $3,950 between 2018 and 2019. So, and it looks like woman number 2 had $4,189. Woman 4 had $6,000. Woman 6 had $5,000. And those look like the highest ones there. Yeah, oh my gosh. I don't know everybody. I mean, who's a Greenberg? So that's his friend that got put into prison. That's the prison friend. Bro hired his girlfriend. Yeah, this is kind of odd, so I'm not sure exactly what's going on here. But we had a chart, so yikes. The committee's record indicates, I don't know, should I be using my cute little Christmas pen for this? I'm feeling like I feel like it's getting tainted. It's getting tainted. Here we go. Like, I use a different pen. Oh my gosh. All right. The committee's record indicates that Representative Gaetz was in a long-term relationship with woman 1, and therefore some of the payments may have been of a legitimate nature. However, as discussed further below, woman 1 asserted her Fifth Amendment right when asked whether the payments to her from Representative Gaetz were for SEX activity and or DRUGs, or for her to pass on to others for such purposes. Based on that assertion, combined with evidence received from other sources, the committee found substantial reason to believe that most of these payments were for such activity. So, yikes. Yeah, it's very disturbing. The committee was not able to speak with every woman who received payments from Representative Gaetz that were suspected of being part of the illicit activity. Several women initially were responsive to the committee's outreach, but later told the committee they would not voluntarily participate. Other women were clear at first contact that they feared retaliation or were unwilling to voluntarily relive their interactions with Representative Gaetz. Due to the woman's reluctance to cooperate, as well as the delay caused by DOJ's deferral request and subsequent refusal to provide meaningful cooperation, the committee was unable to determine the full extent to which Representative Gaetz's payments to women were compensation for engaging in SEX activity with him. So we can take a moment here and say, can anyone think of a reason why any of these women wouldn't want to just share everything that happened to them, right? Right? I mean, come on. Why don't they ever report it? Well, bad things happen sometimes. So this is another one of those moments where, if you keep everything under wraps, you can't go after the perp for it. Because even if you went after the perp would go free and maybe run for office and become president of the United States. I'm just putting that out there. Here we go. Representative Gaetz refused to answer questions about his relationships with the women involved. There was, however, evidence that he understood and shared many of the women's transactional views of their arrangements. In one text exchange viewed by the committee, Representative Gaetz balked at a woman's request that he send her money after he accused her of ditching him on a night when she was feeling tired, claiming she only gave him a drive-by. Come on, people, you're nasty. The women asserted that Representative Gaetz, that she was being treated differently than the other women he was paying for SEX. The committee also obtained text messages in which Representative Gaetz's then girlfriend informed some of the women who were typically paid for, oh my gosh, who were typically paid for SEX that the guys, Representative Gaetz and Mr. Greenberg, wanted me to share that they are a little limited in their cash flow this weekend. Matt was like, if it can be more of a customer appreciation week. A few months later, that's nasty. Dang. A few months later, she noted that BTW, Matt also mentioned he is going to be a bit generous because of the customer appreciation thing last time. Oh, gross. Another woman, sorry, everybody, I need to take a drink of something. One moment, please. Oh, my goodness gracious. Sorry, I need to, be professional. Oh my God. I'm wearing my pearls. All right. So here we go. Customer appreciation thing last time. Another woman specifically recalled a conversation with Representative Gaetz about issues with Mr. Greenberg's following through with expected payments after Mr. Greenberg's encounters with her. Mr. Greenberg told the committee that Representative Gaetz was aware that the women they had SEX with and paid had met Mr. Greenberg through the sugar dating website. All right. Yeah, this is a Lifetime episode. Oh my gosh. All right. Representative Gaetz did not appear to have negotiated specific payment amounts prior to engaging in the SEX activity with the women he paid. Instead, the women had a general expectation that they would typically receive some amount of money after each SEX encounter. In 2017, using the pseudo-anonymous account, Representative Gaetz made payments to women largely without description of the purpose of the payment. After several months, he began to use other payment accounts, including ones with his own name, using innocuous descriptions to indicate the purpose of the payments. Representative Gaetz did not provide any information regarding the lengths of thousands of dollars in payments he made to over a dozen women, despite being offered the opportunity to do so by the committee. Representative Gaetz was provided with a list of women who the committee found received payments from him beginning in 2017 and was asked to inform the committee of the purpose of those payments as well as to inform the committee how he knew. Oh my gosh. The individual and whether if you engaged in any SEX activity with the individual. Did she ever indicate to you that she expected payment for engaging in SEX activity with you? Rather than answer the question, Representative Gaetz asserted incorrectly, quote, "You ask in part whether I've had SEX with a list of adult women over the past 7 years. The lawful consensual SEX activities of adults are not the business of Congress." Oh, I don't know about that, sir. Yikes. Is he addicted? That's a really great question, isn't it? I think that's a valid question to ask. Many of the women interviewed by the committee were clear that there was a general expectation of SEX. One woman who was paid more than $5,000 by Representative Gaetz between 2018 and 2019 told the committee that 99% of the time that Representative Gaetz and I were hanging out, there was SEX involved. Text messages obtained by the committee showed that Representative Gaetz would also ask women to bring DRUGs to their rendezvous, in some instances requesting the marijuana cartridges and repaying the women directly. But in the other cases, requesting a full complement of party favors, vitamins, or rolls. Representative Gaetz sent one woman several $100s for the Mary Jane cartridges. One woman stated that with respect to the 2018 Bahamas trip, quote, "Myself and Representative Gaetz' then girlfriend bought DRUGs with us, and I do know that Matt supplied his then girlfriend with money." Another woman said that she brought this one to at least one event with Representative Gaetz, and that she witnessed him taking that or another one on at least 5 occasions. Dang, Gaetz. Oh my gosh. Mr. Greenberg told the committee that he would typically provide the DRUGs, such as this one, for events he attended with Representative Gaetz, who would pay him back in cash. Several other women observed Representative Gaetz to be under the influence of DRUGS. Additionally, nearly every witness interviewed observed Representative Gaetz using this marijuana situation. That's a lot. That's a lot of bad choices, Mr. Gaetz. Let's make good choices, all right? Selected interactions. So, and I will kind of skip through this a little bit. I'm not sure which girlfriend it was. Sounds like it did. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Trauma. Selected interactions. Based on the evidentiary record, the committee identified at least 20 occasions from beginning of 2017 through the middle of 2020 where there was substantial evidence that the Representative Gaetz met with women who were paid for SEX and DRUGSs. The committee also received testimony related to multiple additional events, trips, or parties where Representative Gaetz may have paid a woman for SEX and drugs. Do we not, let me ask a question, everybody, to the chat. Do we not do any DRUG testing on our representatives? Do they not get tested? I'm curious about that. Has anyone heard that? I mean, the ones that are on probation, that kind of stuff, but I'm just curious. No, they don't. Right. All right. I think that would be, what do you think? What should we write a letter to somebody and be like, you mind doing some UA testing for me after a long weekend? They should be. Yeah. Heard that's not part of the process. All right. Well, yeah. I mean, you can definitely you don't want to go after the California ones, right? Or Colorado. Colorado, can you come here? But you know what I'm saying? It seems like that should be a possibility. Yeah. Let's send a letter. Somebody get that letter put together. Let's do this. Because this is some bad business going on here. They shouldn't vote while impaired. Oh my gosh, that's a t-shirt. Tell Hawk that one, all right? All right, here we go. Moving on. One of the women Mr. Greenberg met on seekingarrangement.com and introduced to Representative Gaetz in or around March of 2017 became Representative Gaetz's girlfriend. All right, when he was almost 35 and she was 21 years old. All right, their relationship continued for over 2 years. The relationship was not exclusive, and the committee received evidence of Representative Gaetz' activity on the website or otherwise involved in SEX for money arrangements. The committee also obtained a text message where she appeared to act as an intermediary between Representative Gaetz and the women he paid for SEX. She herself was paid tens of thousands of dollars by Representative Gaetz over the course of their 2-year relationship. She stated, quote, "Matt always paid for everything for me," end quote. However, she invoked her Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination in response to several questions, including what the purpose of specific payments was, whether Representative Gaetz ever paid her money. Hold on, everybody. I've got the puzzle piece. Okay. Did we get it? Yay, we got it. Phew. All right. Yikes. All right. Ever paid her money for SEX, and whether she was aware of Representative Gaetz paying others for SEX. She also invoked her Fifth Amendment privilege when asked to explain an increase in payments from Representative Gaetz in 2019, whether any of those payments from Representative Gaetz were related to DRUGSs, and whether payments that she received from Mr. Greenberg were related to Representative Gaetz. Tea break, thank you so much. Oh my goodness. I didn't think we were going to get another situation where we had a story similar to Hunter Biden. And I say this in good faith right now, because when we went through his indictment, the details of what had been going on was like, oh my goodness gracious. But I'm going to say I believe Gaetz has won the award now for most horrendous situations. I'm going to just put it out there. Who taught him this? I know, it's a good question. Oh my gosh, write a letter reflecting on who it was that said that this was okay. Oh my goodness. The committee obtained messages between Mr. Greenberg and a 20-year-old woman he met through seekingarrangement.com who noted, "I usually do $400 per meet." As shown in the following exchange, Mr. Greenberg and the woman made plans to each other to bring a friend to their meet. The committee found that the language used by the women and the amount proposed were consistent with a typical pay per meet arrangement made by users of seekingarrangement.com at that time. All right, so $400, I'm just trying to figure out. I mean, is that for like the whole night? Is that like 6 hours? I mean, I'm curious about how that came about as far as the money goes, because that's some serious cash there. Hunter's not representing his state. Excellent point, Lori. And when I'm talking about Hunter, I'm talking about the details of what he did. Not necessarily his position or even Gaetz's position, but out of all of the cases I've read, this one's probably the worst that I've done for when I've gone and done lives. So this one's pretty bad. If I ever did the Sean Holmes, I would probably say he would reach the max, but we're not doing that. Thinking of changing your profession? Well, yeah, those days are over. My knees aren't what they used to be. Here we go. Messages between Joel Greenberg and 20-year-old female here. And then what's he doing here? Is he sitting? That's kind of weird, right? I don't know. That's a weird picture. VC, did you catch that? Sorry, everybody. Getting old, man. It's not easy to do stuff. All right, so here we go. Here's our text. It says, if you have a friend that's down, perhaps all four of us can meet up later. So that'd be $400 per person. So that's $1,600. Yeah, I mean, I can't eat, right? Do you, I'm moving on. Do you party at all? All right, and then the response, oh, that's perfect. I have a friend who introduced me to the website that I could bring. She's very pretty, great personality. I usually do $400 per meet. Does your friend use the website as well? And yes, I do like to go out sometimes. Very cool. Yes, he understands the deal. What does your friend look like? $400 is not a problem. Are you both old enough to drink? Oh my gosh. If you're asking this question, you need to reassess the moment that you are in your life. All right? Because that's bad business. And then over here we've got, so what do you have in mind for tonight? And then he's like, he's sitting somewhere? Oh, this is a picture of his friend. I don't understand the graphic here. Ooh, my friend thinks he's really cute. Well, he's down here for only the day. We work hard and we play hard. Ugh. Have you ever tried Molly? What? Oh my gosh. Which of course is the name of an illegal DRUG, right? Yeah. He's taking a selfie. I know, but it's just like, doesn't it look weird though, how he is? Like, is this a whiteboard behind him? Like, is he in a classroom? What's going on here? I'm struggling. Is it Greenberg? Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, are you old enough to drink? Right. Oh, gosh. All right. And then, of course, they're bringing up this, which is a type of DRUG. So here we go. Evidence reviewed by the committee shows that on several occasions, Representative Gaetz met with the woman who corresponded with Mr. Greenberg in these messages. He continued to follow her on social media and has paid her more than $2,000 since late of 2018. The committee received evidence indicating the 20-year-old woman in the above messages joined Mr. Greenberg and Representative Gaetz at a hotel in Florida less than 2 weeks after her initial encounter with Representative Gaetz. The committee's record indicates that Representative Gaetz also invited another woman who he regularly paid for SEX to meet him at the hotel without disclosing to her that others would be present. The other woman, who was 21 years old, had recently asked the congressman for his help with her tuition. She recalled that Representative Gaetz agreed and told her to meet him at the hotel room, where he would provide her with a check, which, according to the woman, was interesting because he had normally sent Venmo payments. When she arrived to pick up the check, she found Mr. Greenberg and the 20-year-old woman present. The 21-year-old woman told the committee there was an expectation of SEX encounter. The four of them had SEX, and afterwards, Representative Gaetz gave her a $750 check made out to cash as tuition reimbursement. Oh my gosh, everybody, you remember when that hit the news? Tuition reimbursement. Oh my gosh, it's all coming back to me now. In the memo line, which she deposited the next day to help pay her tuition. The 21-year-old woman told the committee she believed that the encounter could potentially be a form of coercion because I really needed the money. Representative Gaetz's financial records confirm that he wrote the check and that he was present at the hotel identified by the woman on the date identified by the woman. As another example, a committee obtained text messages that appeared to show Representative Gaetz messaging a woman he knew through Mr. Greenberg, inviting her to travel on a private plane to Key West from May 19th through the 21st of 2017 with 2 guys, 4 girls, a very high quality adventurous group. She initially responded, "Yeah, I'm in," to which Representative Gaetz stated, "Fantastic." I'm never using that word again, everyone. "As is true with all the time you spend with me. It'll be fun and very chill." The same woman was photographed with Representative Gaetz on May 19th of 2017 in Orlando. Is that when Ted Cruz went to, no wait, that was a different thing. Okay, that was Cancun. Apologies. All right, here we go. And the photograph depicts Representative Gaetz in a casual shirt with his arm around her in a dimly lit bar. She was also photographed in front of a helicopter with 3 other women associated with Representative Gaetz around that time, including his then girlfriend. After the committee obtained copies of the text messages and selfie photo, there was public reporting about the evidence. In response to the reporting, Representative Gaetz' spokesperson released a statement asserting that Representative Gaetz does not know anything about the woman you're referencing, though he takes thousands of selfies each year. He seems like that kind of person. Payment records reviewed by the committee, however, show that Representative Gaetz paid $600 to the woman that same day he was photographed with her. Yeah, February of 2018, Mr. Greenberg introduced Representative Gaetz to 2 women with accounts on seekingarrangement.com. They were generally older than the other women that Mr. Greenberg had previously introduced to Representative Gaetz, and they had a slightly different relationship with the 2 men. They were the only women paid by Representative Gaetz, who denied to the committee that the payment they received from the congressman were compensation for engaging in SEX activity. Ugh. One of the women, who was 25 years old when she met Representative Gaetz, testified that she understood herself to be more sophisticated than some other women on seekingarrangement.com. In contrast to the women who almost exclusively interacted with Representative Gaetz in the hotel room or at private parties, this woman attended events as Representative Gaetz' date, for which she was paid between $500 and $1,000 per event. So this sounds like more like an escort service, right? Here, she also stated that she did not feel pressured to have SEX with Representative Gaetz and only did so on some occasions. She told the committee that in December of 2019, Representative Gaetz had his congressional assistant arrange travel for her to Washington, D.C. for one night. According to the woman, she attended a dinner with Representative Gaetz and a few other individuals. She stayed overnight at the hotel with Representative Gaetz and had SEX with him. Representative Gaetz sent the woman $1,000 around that time. The woman told the committee she was paid to be his date and that SEX was not necessarily an expectation. Oh, my goodness gracious. The other older women. So if you're 25, you're an older woman, that's suspicious. Who was 27, whoa, way older, when she met Representative Gaetz, was the only woman interviewed by the committee who did not view their relationship as transactional in nature. The first time she met Representative Gaetz, however, she had SEX with him and was paid $1,000 by Mr. Greenberg, which she understood to have been at Representative Gaetz's direction. She told the committee that she viewed her relationship with Representative Gaetz as more or less dating, although it was never anything serious. She said she was not familiar with his then girlfriend and said she was not aware that he was also having an sex relationship with her friend, the 25-year-old. Oh no! She frequently commented on his social media and he still follows her on social media. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Eesh. Not transactional, but she got paid. Yeah, isn't that interesting? How much of this was written off in his taxes? Oh, that's a good point. That's a very good point as well. All right. Most of the sex for money encounters with the committee reviewed occurred in Florida, particularly around Orlando. Several of the women involved were students based in that area. On several occasions, however, Representative Gaetz did travel with women that he paid for sex. On September 13th of 2018, Gaetz and 2 other men and 6 women traveled to the Bahamas. Representative Gaetz arrived by commercial plane later than the others, who arrived on private planes. The group stayed at a vacation rental booked and paid for by one of the male travelers. The attendees stated that this was a social trip. They sunbathed. Watch out for that. You got to put that SPF on, people. Chartered a boat and went to dinners and to a casino as a group. Representative Gaetz engaged in sex activity with at least 4 of the women on the trip. Several of the women recalled that Representative Gaetz appeared to be under the influence of drugs and that they took this one during the trip. One woman said she witnessed Representative Gaetz taking this other kind as well. Most, if not all, of the women involved had some history of sex interactions with Representative Gaetz for which they had been paid. While there was no specific payments to the women in connection with the Bahamas trip, according to one woman, the trip itself was more so the payment. The group returned to Orlando on September 16th, 2018. Representative Gaetz flew on a private plane with another man and 3 women, while the remaining individuals flew on another private plane. Oh, yikes. It's like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, BC, yes. Yes, that's right. Representative Gaetz paid for 2 women to travel to New York City in January 2019 to meet up with him and his then girlfriend. The committee reviewed text messages in which Representative Gaetz asked the woman about obtaining drugs in advance of the trip, stating, quote, "Who can help with party favors," end quote. Wow, that's slang bally. In addition to paying with their travel costs, the committee received evidence that Representative Gaetz sent the women money to compensate them for sex activities they engaged in with him during the trip. Ugh. While all of the women that the committee interviewed stated their sex activity with Representative Gaetz was consensual, at least one woman felt that the use of drugs at the party and events they attended may have impaired their ability to really know what was going on in the details and fully consented. Indeed, nearly every woman the committee spoke with could not remember the details of at least one or more of the events they attended with Representative Gaetz and attributed that to the drug and alcohol consumption. Oh my gosh, if they can't, oh my goodness gracious, that's terrible. Oh my goodness. Yikes. The women also discussed instances when Representative Gaetz would try to convince them to have sex with him or Mr. Greenberg. He would make me feel bad about not having sex with him or Joel Greenberg, and that he would say, "Why don't you want to have sex with me?" Or "Mr. Greenberg looks very sad over there. Make him happy." Another woman said that their relationship at some point was a loving friendship, but over time came to feel like a task. A third woman said, "When I look back on certain moments, I feel violated." One woman said, "I think about it all the time. I still see him when I turn on the TV, and there's nothing anyone can do. It's frustrating to know I lived that reality that he denies." Ouch. Yikes. Yeah. Yep. It certainly is. All right, so we're going to make it through because these are only half pages. This is all the footnotes here. So we'll talk about this, but I need to be extremely careful because we're going to be talking about minors, all right? So Representative Gaetz's interaction with the minor he met through Mr. Greenberg. Numerous witnesses told the committee that on July 15th of 2017, Representative Gaetz attended a party at Mr. Dorworth's home. The party was also attended by Mr. Greenberg, Representative Gaetz's then girlfriend, and several other, including victim A, who was 17 years old at the time. The record overwhelmingly suggests that Representative Gaetz had sex with multiple women at the party, including the then 17-year-old, for which they were paid. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's awful. It's so awful. Mr. Dorworth testified that Representative Gaetz was a frequent guest at his home. To enter the community where Mr. Dorworth lives, non-residents are required to present a driver's license before entering, and entry records are maintained. Mr. Dorworth believed that Representative Gaetz invited people to his home on the evening of July 15, 2017. Likewise, Representative Gaetz' then-girlfriend provided an affidavit in the civil litigation stating that she and Representative Gaetz attended the July 15th party at the Dorworth residence. The committee received testimony that victim A and Representative Gaetz had sex twice during the party, including at least once in the presence of other party attendees. Victim A recalled receiving $400 in cash from Representative Gaetz that evening, which she understood to be a payment for sex. At the time, she had just completed her junior year of high school. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness gracious. Victim A said that she did not inform Representative Gaetz that she was under 18 at the time. Nor, and you don't have to. You don't have to. Did he ask her age? The committee did not receive any evidence indicating that Representative Gaetz was aware of victim A was a minor and that he had sex with her. It seems like you should be aware of that, sir. That's something you should be aware of. Victim A acknowledged that she was under the influence of this kind of DRUG during her sex encounters with Representative Gaetz on July 15th of 2017 party, and recalled seeing Representative Gaetz use this particular one at the party. Victim A told the committee she was certain of her sex encounters with Representative Gaetz on that night. As discussed further below, Representative Gaetz generally denied engaging in sex activity with a minor, but refused to answer specific questions relating to his interactions with victim A. Oh my gosh. All right. On August 2nd of 2024, Representative Gaetz sent the committee a copy of a social media post from Mr. Dorworth's regarding his lawsuit against victim A, in which he had accused her of being a part of a conspiracy to defame him. Yikes. In that post, Mr. Dorworth discussed his recent settlement with victim A, in which no funds were exchanged. He asserted that he had succeeded in proving that victim A had lied about him, and that she didn't just lie about me, she lied about Gaetz as well in a federal criminal investigation that resulted in no charges against the congressman because of our false accuser has no credibility and had no evidence for the crime. That didn't occur. That same day, Mr. Dorworth received his post after victim A's attorneys contacted his attorneys to remove his claim that he succeeded in proving victim A had lied, but maintaining his assertion that she falsely accused Gaetz. Mr. Dorworth testified to the committee that he himself was not present for the July 15, 2017 party at his own home, despite victim A's assertions to the contrary. After the committee's interview and after he settled his lawsuit against victim A, Mr. Dorworth was deposed and confronted with cell phone records showing that he was, in fact, at his residence during the party. Mr. Dorworth stated, "I don't have an answer to these questions, and I'm not going to opine on cell phone data when I don't know anything about it. I don't know. I do not believe I was there. There could have been a million reasons for that." As the questions about his cell phone pinging from tower less than a mile from his home continued, Mr. Dorworth became irritated, informing the attorney, I'm telling you that I was not at the party. So if you don't believe those phone records somehow impute what I was, or they make it just undeniable, then it's certainly your belief. The committee requested through counsel that Mr. Dorwith clarify his testimony regarding his whereabouts on the evening of July 15th, 2017. His counsel did not respond. Yikes. Who's the unreliable source now exactly? Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. All right. So Representative Gaetz's response to the allegations of SEX misconduct and illicit DRUG use. We just take a peek here around the corner because we want to see. I've only got a few pages left here, everybody. So I'm going to try to get us through it here. So here's his perspective, everyone, how he has responded to all of this, although many of us have already seen him responding. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, my Christmas nails. All right, Representative Gaetz categorically stated to the committee that the allegations he may have engaged in SEX misconduct, including violations of federal laws relating to SEX trafficking, and state laws relating to prostitution and statutory RAPE were false, and that these allegations were investigated by the Department of Justice and the investigation was completely dropped. He also repeatedly incorrectly stated the DOJ investigation exonerated him. Representative Gaetz did not provide any explanation for his assertion that the allegations of state law violations were false, even though those violations were not within the jurisdiction of the DOJ. He also denied the allegations that he used illicit DRUGs. So, all right, know your jurisdiction. The committee provided Representative Gaetz with the names of 15 women who were alleged to have received payments from him on his behalf relating to SEX misconducts and illicit DRUG use, as well as the approximate payment amounts in transaction years, but he did not provide any explanation for those payments. Representative Gaetz responded publicly to the allegations that his payments to a woman were for SEX by stating that, quote, someone's trying to recategorize my generosity to ex-girlfriends as something more untoward. Ew, that's gross. He also repeatedly denied having ever paid for SEX. When given the opportunity to put that assertion in writing in this matter, however, Representative Gaetz refused to respond, asserting that asking about his SEX history as a single man with adult women is a bridge too far. Interesting. Everyone feels free to ask all the ladies, though, don't they? Representative Gaetz did broadly address the allegation that he had engaged in SEX activity with a minor. He asserted in his September 26th of 2024 letter to the committee, quote, your correspondence of September 4th asked whether I've engaged in SEX activity with any individual under 18. The answer to that question is unequivocally is no. You can apply this response to every version of this question in every forum. The committee's September 4th letter, however, specifically asked him whether he was present at the July 15, 2017 party, Mr. Dorwer's, whether he ever engaged in SEX activity with victim A, and when and whether he ever gave victim A money, directly or indirectly, and if so, for what purpose. Representative Gaetz did not answer any of those questions. Ew. Oh my gosh. All right, so we also have, and I will skip through this a little bit, everyone. We've got allegations relating to the House gift rules. So again, that's that $50 max, and you have to declare it. Allegations relating to misuse of official resources. So we kind of talked about that as well earlier. The committee reviewed other records relating to passport assistance requests from the office. So he kind of helped a few people out, apparently. Obstruction of the committee's investigation, and I think we can pretty much put those together as well. The kinds of things. He didn't answer the questions appropriately. He didn't come in and have an interview. Those kinds of things. That's all interfering with this. So we'll skip through here. Again, All right, so here's the findings, everybody. All right, we're in the last couple pages here. So here's our findings. If other guests were in the office. Yeah, that's a good question. All right, findings. The committee found Representative Gaetz violated state laws relating to SEX misconduct. The committee did not find that Representative Gaetz violated federal SEX trafficking laws. The committee did not obtain substantial evidence that Representative Gaetz violated the federal SEX trafficking laws. Transportation of an individual for the purpose of commercial SEX could violate such laws if the individual was a minor or if the sexual activity occurred through force, fraud, or coercion. So this is actually a pretty high standard here on the SEX trafficking. So it has to be very specific. And he may not have that asportation element of it with the minor because it looks like it all happened in one place. So if we don't have any movement, then you're not really looking at that federal trafficking law, just to give you a little insight there. Next, the committee found the Representative Gaetz engaged in commercial SEX. Okay, so that's not a great finding. There's substantial evidence that Representative Gaetz paid women for SEX and had others pay women for SEX on his behalf. The committee heard testimony from over half a dozen witnesses who attended parties, events, and trips with Representative Gaetz from 2017 to 2020. Nearly every young woman the committee interviewed confirmed that she was paid for SEX by or on behalf of Representative Gaetz. A few of the women characterized their relationship differently, describing a date-for-hire arrangement that may not necessarily implicate state prostitution laws. Even assuming the payments to those particular women would not violate prostitution laws, the committee found evidence that Representative Gaetz spent tens of thousands of dollars on other women with whom he had a shared understanding that they would be compensated for SEX activity with him. There were potentially additional amounts spent for commercial SEX that could not be specifically identified, either because payments were made in cash or through intermediaries. The committee's record thus indicates that Representative Gaetz enticed and procured women to engage in SEX activity for hire and purchased the services of women engaging in SEX activity for hire in violation of Florida state law. Oh, gross. All right, so we're going to kind of skip again through here. So they're saying we've got some violations of the criminal code in Florida. Next, committee found that Representative Gaetz violated Florida's statutory RAPE laws. So again, when we're talking about statutory, it just means age, right? So it doesn't matter if the defendant knew the age or not. They should be proactive in figuring out if they're with a minor or not. So this particular, and I'll give you a little inside note. When you're working on these cases in the real world, we always, in the offices I was working in, when it came to any kind of RAPE laws or victims who would come in and claim that had happened to them, we always check the age difference, because if you can get the age difference on a statutory charge, is way easier than convincing a jury to believe the victim, because that's a huge issue with our juries. They don't believe the victim. They just don't. So if I remember thinking to myself, if I can bump this over into a statutory situation, we would still have it on the record, still be on the registry, still do some prison time, and then not put the victim through such a nightmare of being up on the stand and not being believed. So just a little heads up on how that kind of works from the inside here. There's substantial evidence that Representative Gaetz engaged in SEX activity with a 17-year-old girl. Now, also, this statutory situation does not require intent. Usually we need to have an act, we need to have an intent in order to have a crime. But if you can get it into the statutory numbers, then you don't need to show any kind of intent. So this is what we refer to as kind of a strict liability crime, where it doesn't really matter if there was consent. It doesn't really matter if you knew the age or not. All that matters is looking at, the birth certificate. Are they a certain number of years apart if they're a minor? And if so, then you can go forward on it. 16-year-old dating and 18-year-old dating. Yeah, oh yeah, exactly. And that's why the laws are written that way too. So to kind of say, hey, stay within your age bracket or, there's going to be trouble coming. Several of those witnesses have also testified under oath before a federal grand jury and in civil litigation. Representative Gaetz denied the allegation but refused to testify under oath. He has publicly stated that victim A doesn't exist and that he has not had sex with a 17-year-old since I was 17. The committee found that to be untrue and determined that there is substantial evidence that Representative Gaetz had sex with victim A in July of 2017 when she was 17 years old and he was 35. Representative Gaetz' actions were in violation of Florida's statutory RAPE law. So that's too big of a gap, all right? We're not talking like 21 and 17 here. That's a really big gap. All right, let's move forward. We're almost here towards the end. 32 here. The committee found Representative Gaetz used illegal substances. That could be, Here we go. There's substantial evidence that Representative Gaetz used this drug here and this drug and the Mary Jane. At least 2 women saw Representative Gaetz using C and E at different events. Even more women understood him to regularly be using the E1. There's also ample evidence that Representative Gaetz purchased and used the marijuana. He appears to have set a anonymous email account from his house office in the Capitol complex for the purpose of purchasing marijuana. Oh my gosh. You're not supposed to have your own email address for the purpose of, oh my goodness gracious. Look at that. Let's leave Mary Jane out of this. Sorry. I keep thinking of all the different names it's been called over the years. Oh, all right. Representative Gaetz denied using illicit DRUGSs in written correspondence to the committee. So I'm sure that matters. Like, oh, look, he said he didn't do it in written form. Well, he must not have then. Oh, my goodness. Broccoli. Oh, my gosh. Tea break. I am taking suggestions for another word to use besides the Mary Jane. Does anyone have any suggestions? The PCP or the hashishes? Or, if anyone's got suggestions. I never thought of ordering it that way. Cashews. Most people don't. the devil's lettuce. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I gotta write that down. All right, the devil's lettuce is the winner. Grass, yeah, that's a good one. Wacky. Oh, the wacky tobacco. All right, yeah, I got it. Oh my gosh, MJ, yeah. I like the wacky tobacco. The happy trees. That's a little too close to Ooh, excuse me. All right. Yay, you won. Okay. Suddenly the chat blew up. Oh, broccoli. Okay. The herb. Okay. Spicy oxygen. Wood. That's interesting. Hey, as long as it's legal and you're using it according to directions, I've got nothing to say about it. All right. Here we go. We're going to use devil's lettuce or the wacky tobacco. Those are the top ones, but I'm going to have to remember. Yes, Molly is one. Oh, my goodness. Oh, oregano, right. We call it a flower. Okay. Garden salad. That has a very different meaning behind it. So I'm going to stay away from the salad. All right, back in it. In it to win it, everybody. Here we go. We're coming down to the finish line. Oh, my goodness gracious. All right. The committee found that Representative Gaetz violated the House gift rule. So, again, that's that $50 gift max, and you have to declare it on here. Gardening seems popular on TT. Yes, it's a Tuesday night. Like, what day is it? Tuesday? Well, let's call it Tuesday night. All right. So there we go. We got the violation there. And then we have next, the committee found Representative Gaetz dispensed special privileges and favors to individuals with whom he had personal relationships. So we can, as long as you're not a proponent for laws that imprison people for, well, Casey, I'm a person that thinks it's very wise to follow the laws in the area. I remember some of my very early cases where prison was on the line for a defendant. And for me, when I was prosecuting, that was never an option. I did not, if your only DRUG was the devil's lettuce, then, we needed to have a talk, but we weren't going to put you in prison for it. That was my stance on it. Oh, and my judge wasn't either. The judge I worked with, he's like, man, we don't have enough beds for people. I think that's a good point. All right, here we go. The committee found substantial evidence that Representative Gaetz used the power of his office to assist a woman with whom he was engaged in an sex relationship in obtaining an expedited passport. The woman was not his constituent. Well, I'm glad that's clear. And the case was not handled in the same manner as similar passport assistant cases. Accordingly, the committee found Representative Gaetz violated House regulations and laws requiring the use of official resources for representational purposes in paragraph 5 of the Code of Ethics for Government Service, which prohibits the dispensing of special favors and privileges. All right, so is he representing his constituency? That's a good question. I mean, no, he's not. I don't think you can just be like, hey, congressperson, can you help me with my passport? I've got problems. I'm not sure that that's okay. All right, the committee found Representative Gaetz sought to obstruct its investigation of his conduct. Now, we kind of already talked about that. He didn't answer the questions when they sent them out in written form. He didn't come in and get interviewed when they asked him to come in. So we had all of those kinds of issues going on. All right, so here we go. In conclusion, everybody, based on the above, the committee determined there is substantial evidence that Representative Gaetz violated House rules and other standards of conduct prohibiting prostitution, statutory RAPE, illicit DRUG use, impermissible gifts, special favors or privileges, and obstruction of Congress. That's quite a bit. That's a pretty tall order. Really? Can you go to your House of Representative and be like, hey, help me out with my passport? Seriously? I didn't know that. I'm not sure about that. I got to follow that one back up again. Yeah, I got to follow that one back up. And you have to be careful too, because I can only pick the representatives that I haven't yelled at. Like, I haven't yelled at you yet, right? Here's my passport, fix it. Oh, all right. Well, we love that. That's something for me let me write that down so I can look into that. That might have been helpful this last run. Oh my gosh. All right. Noted. Here we go. Statement under House Rule 13, Clause 3C. The committee made no special oversight findings in this report. No budget statement is submitted. No funding is authorized by any measure in this report. So that's kind of their disclaimer at the end. So these are the dissenting pieces, and I do want to go through it because they've set them out in just a few paragraphs. We had some dissenters here. Oh, you're welcome. You're very welcome. So let's take a look and see what we've got. I write on behalf of the members of the committee who do not support the release of the report regarding former Representative Matt Gaetz. We believe and remain steadfast in the position that the House Committee on Ethics lost jurisdiction to release to the, oh my gosh, oh, that's so fun. Oh my gosh, Shadow. Oh, that's so sweet. Sorry, we've got to have a kitty break. Oh my goodness. Oh, I love it. Thank you so much. Here we go. So release to the public any substantive work product regarding Mr. Gaetz after his resignation from the House on November 14th of 2024. While we do not challenge the committee's findings, we take great exception that the majority deviated from the committee's well-established standards and voted to release a report on an individual no longer under the committee's jurisdiction, an action the committee has not taken since 2006. Yeah, see? 2006 wasn't that long ago. House rules gives the committee jurisdiction over current members, officers, and employees of the House. Consistent with these rules, when a member who is under investigation by the committee leaves the House, the committee's standard practice is to close its investigation and make no further statement on its findings. We do not believe the rules authorize the committee to continue to expand its jurisdiction as it sees fit. Any precedent to the contrary is extremely rare, inconsistent with the rules, and outweighed by the vast majority of matters too numerous to list, in which the committee took no material action after losing jurisdiction. All right. Representative Gaetz resigned from Congress, withdrew from consideration to serve in the next administration. Well, I should hope so. I should have hoped so. And declared that he would not seek to be seated in the 119th Congress. The decision to publish a report after his resignation breaks from committee's long-standing practice, opens the committee to undue criticism, and will be viewed by some as an attempt to weaponize the committee's process. So, and this is the moment where I say, you know what? It used to be that everyone could be in the committee room smoking just regular tobacco, and that was fine. And they're like, we've been doing this for decades. We've been smoking in this room since the founding fathers created it for us. And so why should we have to stop, right? Why should we have to stop? Because times change, you dingleberries. Times change. You can't smoke in there anymore. And apparently now, even if you resign, your ethics report should be made available for everybody. And I'll stand by that statement too. I mean it. Right. But some precedent is, yeah. We believe that operating outside the jurisdictional bounds set forth by House rules and committee standards, especially when making public disclosures, is a dangerous departure with potentially catastrophic consequences. I would absolutely disagree with that. Finally, we join the views of the committee as expressed in its December 23rd, 2024 public statement addressing the significant and unusual amount of public reporting on the committee's review on this matter. As expressed by the committee, to the extent that any public reporting on this matter came from unauthorized disclosures of confidential committee information, we strongly condemn such unauthorized disclosures. Oh, there it is, everybody. They condemn it. Well, that's it. It's all over then. Which are damaging and harmful to the committee's work. I'm not sure that that's what's damaging to your work. All right, everybody. So that's the long and short of it. Mr. Gaetz is, I really, I'm going to have to reassess my whole world at this point. We all knew it was a problem, and especially after his friend got indicted, we were in the situation like, well, why didn't he get indicted? I can see here where the evidence is a bit thin to take this to criminal court. For a statutory RAP situation, I think would be the strongest case. And then they would have to, that would probably be the strongest case. Where again, you don't have to prove anything other than the birth dates involved. So that one's probably pretty strong. Also, the use of DRUGs, that's another strong criminal count that could be done. But I think it was right for them to pull back. Oh, thank you. Oh, that was fun. So pretty. Thanks, Lori. But I think, it was smart that they pulled back on the trafficking piece of the federal law because if you've got solid state grounds and you've got iffy federal grounds, it's like go for the state grounds, and that tends to happen. If it's clearly, obviously a federal violation, then you kick it to the feds. But if you can keep it in state court, there's a lot more power there. So, yes. Oh, you're most welcome, everybody. You're very, very welcome. I had unfortunately not been feeling very well. So I missed the last day, or I missed my sub-chat only Sundays. But I've also, let me just show you real quick before I let everybody go. I can hear everyone putting their backpacks away right now. I did look into the investigation of the ethics challenge at the Supreme Court, and this is like 1,000 pages, and they go through piece by piece by piece on where our Supreme Court justices are in their ethics. So I'm working through this so that I can just pick out the highlights. Again, it's a huge, huge document, but it's been all over the place. It has been officially issued here by the Senate committee. And so I thought this would definitely have some value to be put out there. So I will be coming back to go through that. And then, of course, we have this is such an interesting situation here. This civil litigation with Blake Lively. So I really think I will absolutely be covering this because it's not because, ooh, Blake Lively. No, it's because there are so many counts that she's asking for damages on. And all of them are, not publicized very much. So people don't really know what it actually is. I mean, sex harassment, sure, and how that works under the Civil Rights Act, but most people probably don't know that. Or retaliation. Most people probably don't know that one either. Failure to investigate, prevent, and or remedy retaliation, again, aiding and abetting harassment, breach of contract, intentional infliction of emotional distress, which is very hard to win on, although Taylor Swift did win on it, negligence, false light invasion of privacy, and interference with prospective economic advantage. So this case, I think, is an amazing case for us to learn all of these kind of new counts that don't get a lot of media attention. So I will be making my way through her complaint and going through and explaining how it's working, and then keeping my eye on the filings, because this is going to be a very interesting case here. So that will be very important. Oh yeah. So this one's on my docket. I guess I have my own docket, everybody. Yeah, I do. So this is on the docket. We'll definitely dive into this one. So I will try to be back tomorrow. I know it's Christmas Eve, so I don't want to bother anybody during the holidays, but I also just have these big gaps of time, so it just works for me. And then I can just put it up on my tube of you for anyone who misses it. So with that, I will go ahead and sign out. Yeah, exactly, Cat Juice. That may be my blog name, or my blog, my podcast. Oh my gosh, did I just say blog? It's been a long time. So take care, everybody. I have nothing else to do. Woohoo! Great. All of us can get together then. But thank you for coming by and visiting. This was, I think, a very interesting situation. And, again, shining some light on these kinds of situations is really the only way to get rid of the cockroaches. You know what I'm saying? So, if you see one cockroach, Mr. Gaetz, there's going to be a whole bunch more as well. So hopefully this will kind of crack things open a little bit. So have a wonderful night, everyone. And if I don't see you, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Festivus, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Boxing Day. I don't know. Do you say Happy Boxing Day? I'm not sure. Happy Solstice, belatedly, and National Bacon Day. We mustn't forget. See you all later, everyone. Take care.